You ready?
Ready.
By now, the world knows about the CEO shooting of what was his name? Thompson. Oh, please get it. The CEO of United Healthcare, and of course, everybody knows that the killer is what's the word? What's the replacement word for that? The assassin has been found, caught, and identified. But it kept leaving. Did you hear that? That was weird. But it kept leaving me to question, to say why. Because I don't have any. I can't understand why this Ivy League boy would want to come after this CEO. But listen to this young lady break this down. I don't think nobody else done this on YouTube. Yeah, I thought he was pro. He had a silencer, but they thinking that was even a 3D print, kind of gun, and they 3D printed it. But listen, and they said the boy was extremely intelligent, far from professional. But listen to this. Listen to her. I said, yo, yeah.
What if the assassin's entire family wealth came from healthcare insurers? The entire world is aware that today Luigi Mangione was arrested as the prime suspect in the unaliving of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Pennsylvania, where unironically he was eating at a McDonald's. He had his manifesto with him. He had the weapon possibly 3D printed with him. But no one, and I mean no one, is talking about the fact that the healthcare companies are single-handedly responsible for all of his family's wealth. I, however, happen to be just outside Baltimore, and in Maryland, we all know where his family's money comes from, and I think there's a tie no one is talking about. Let's get into it. So Luigi Mangione went to Ivy League schools. He also did Ivy League seminars at Johns Hopkins and at Stanford University. He is an intelligent man, but he also graduated as the valedictorian from the Gilman School. Now, if you're anywhere around Maryland, then you know when someone asks where you went to school out here, they're not talking about your university. They're talking about your high school. The Gilman School is one of the most elite preparatory schools in our region, racking in at anywhere between $35,000 and $39,000 a year to go to school there.
For regular school, not college.
Introducing the Mangione family. Now, the Mangione family actually is the head of a group of organizations that are privately held nursing care facilities. And it's called the Lorien Group. And if you look at the Lorien Health Services About Us page as of today, it says a family-owned and operated organization founded by and conducts itself based on strong family values. But if you look just a couple days ago, it looked like this. That's right, folks. Just a few days ago, it said when Nicholas and Mary Mangione founded Lorien Health Services, they set out to provide Maryland seniors with pride and dignity, yada, yada, yada. It's very interesting how that just changed, isn't it? But how do we know who really owns all of these facilities, and how do we know he's related to them? Now, doing a fair amount of research on these nursing facilities, I've learned that since 1977, they've grown to have at least 9 long-term care and rehab facilities all across the state of Maryland. They also have expanded to add a healthcare services company, and they invested a ton of money in buying Turf Valley Golf Resort, where they have tons of weddings and conferences, and they also host hundreds and hundreds of dinners for healthcare and pharmaceutical representatives.
So y'all see, as it's cranking up, these people were extremely wealthy. They ran the healthcare in that area. So you see how it's leading up to ties.
Representatives. No correlation, I'm sure. This is an article from the Washington Post discussing Nick and Mary Mangione's acquisition of the Turf Valley Resort. And it was in these responses to interrogatories from one of their lawsuits that I identified the ownership structure of Lorien Healthcare and their affiliates. In this document, they're answering who owns all of the facilities and who owns all of the stock in Lorien Healthcare and Lorien Health Services. And they identify it and say that the 10 adult offspring of Nicholas and Mary Mangione, listed as Louis, John, Rosemary, Linda, Lisita, Nicholas, Joanne, Peter Mangione, and Francis, and Samuel, and Michelle, each own a 10% stake. Now, in this same set of interrogatories, they identify the specific breakdown of the shell corporations and which corporations do what with which facilities. They also address ownership of the Turf Valley Resort. I also found an attached letter offering to purchase a new facility, and it was signed by a law firm, but it was signed by Louis Mangione, president of the company that was doing the development for all of the rehab facilities and the resort. Now, Louis Mangione, according to address records, is likely Luigi's father. I had to go and find out which of them were Luigi's parents. When I did a background check on Luigi, I found his address as 1 Buckley Court in Towson, Maryland, which happens to be the same address as Louis Z. Mangione, and also his wife, Kathleen Z. Mangione. And as I said, Luigi at 1 Buckley Court, Towson. In case you're wondering, 1 Buckley Court is neatly nestled right at the foothills of Providence, one of the most exclusive areas to live in and around Baltimore and Baltimore County. It's also very close to the private country club that the Mangione family purchased and operates today. Now, taking a really hard look at how the experiences are for the residents at their family nursing facilities, at first glance, it looked like they were really actually on the up and up. It looked like their residents were well taken care of. It appeared that they were receiving decent care. I couldn't find very many lawsuits, but then I dug. I found a bunch of shell corporations, and I identified several malpractice suits.
This is what a
against
problem.
them. I also went and looked at the government rankings of their nursing facilities from the Medicare assessment team that actually determines whether or not the residents have a strong quality of life. And let me tell you, the numbers were not pretty. Jumping back to the healthcare facilities and the state or condition and quality of care that their patients receive. Remember, Luigi volunteered here quite a bit. Right now, their most recent health rating is 2 stars. And they have received at least 24 demerits just on the health conditions and the health inspection investigations in their one facility this year alone. If you look here, it says the average number among similarly sized nursing homes in the United States is 9.6. And they've received 24 demerits just this year on one facility. According to this, they're squeezing 112.7 patients on average into a facility that the average in the United States holds 81.
So obviously, as y'all seeing, as it leads up to, these people did dirty business. Like, their business wasn't always legit. They were super wealthy.
I don't know if they weren't legit, but knowing that.
No, doing this isn't legit. Business establishment was legit, but what they're doing as far as the healthcare wasn't.
Yeah, how people they had in
That's not legit.
right was too many.
That's a problem. That's a code.
But this is where the percentages really start to upset me. As you know, I have done a ton of research on private equity and healthcare. And right here, you're going to see the percentage of long-stay, low-risk residents who lose control of their bowels or bladder, which has to be marked every time it happens for Medicare to pay for their bills. 83.2%.
Wow.
The national average is between 48-ish%. That means that of their low-risk patients, almost 85% of them do not get taken to the bathroom in time to use the facilities and are forced instead to go on themselves or in their bed or in their diapers or whatever they have them using. But they are not taken to the bathrooms 84% of the time.
That's crazy.
This is the ownership of the facility so that you can see that these stats are for one of their facilities, Lorien Health Services, right here. And if you look, it's got their contact information right here. I'm not saying to use it. Do not use it. And it also lists their ownership, and here it is. We have Michelle, Rosemary, Linda, Joanne, John, Louis Mangione, Nick Mangione, Peter, Samuel, and Francis, the 10 siblings, each owning 10%, as stated in the article I posted before. Now, that's 1 out of 9 of their facilities. And I know what you're thinking, well, how do we know that Luigi cares at all about what's happening at his family business that has grown and grown and grown? Well, if you look into his LinkedIn, or you did before they took it down, it shows that he regularly volunteered at Lorien Healthcare Services. I give you Exhibit A, one of the instances where he did some volunteer work at his family business. Now, if you look at the notes that have come from the releases today of the manifesto or the documents that were with Luigi Mangione at the time of his arrest, the documents apparently said, these parasites had it coming. I do apologize for any strife and trauma, but it had to be done. I am not informed enough to analyze whether he allegedly did what he's being accused of doing or why he did it. But what I do know is he was an incredibly intelligent individual, graduating valedictorian and then later cum laude from very prestigious institutions. His social media feed reads like a philosophical challenge board. And as somebody who has a degree in philosophy, I was actually kind of shocked by how much of his posting actually overlapped with a lot of the stuff that I read in school. I do know that we may be dealing with the possibility of an identity rebellion, or we could be dealing with an ideological, ethical awakening. I know that online he frequently posted about utilitarian versus virtue ethics. Now, if you're not familiar with that concept, utilitarianism is the greatest good for the greatest number of people, regardless of what it takes to get there. Whereas virtue ethics say that an act is good only if a virtuous person would do it. He said that unequivocally, he tended to lean towards utilitarianism, saying that actions justify the outcome if the change was positive for the most number of people.
And that's what he did.
That kind of speaks to where we're at.
And just on a side note, before she keeps going, that's exactly what he did. Look at how many people are happy of this man assassinating that man, like a pretzel.
So what do we know? We know that this guy was caught eating at a McDonald's with everything the police needed in his backpack.
Made no sense.
We know that he had very specific things written in that backpack that suggested that what he did needed to be done if he in fact did it. We also know that all of his family's wealth, and their wealth is substantial, came from the very same healthcare companies as Brian Thompson was the CEO of. And they have significant wealth. Among their shell corporations, they own dozens of businesses and a resort that houses thousands of acres of prime real estate in the middle of one of the most expensive states to own real estate in the United States. We know they owned homes in the most exclusive and expensive area in Maryland, and Maryland has several of the most expensive or the highest earning counties in the United States. We also know that if you watch his social media, at a certain point, Luigi Mangione began to talk more and more about the importance of society doing more good for more people. And he also cited frequently authors that advocated for the same. I would not say any of his postings leaned left or right, generally more like up versus down. Considering he was absolutely part of the up, it's an interesting quandary. We also know that while his family business looks to be an altruistic endeavor that's there to serve the patients and their families as they claim, their rankings show something different. It shows an area where too many patients are crammed into too small a space with too few nurses, with bad health conditions, and they're left to sit in their own feces and their own urine. That reeks of profit before patient. And considering that all of their family wealth relied on these exact same insurers to keep that money flowing, it's a bold statement if that's in fact what he intended. Regardless, it is never okay to advocate for violence, and I'm not doing that on my channel. What I am doing is advocating that we all pray for the patients of Lorien Healthcare. We pray for their family members as they go through a difficult time of probably learning the kinds of conditions their family members have been in, and we're going to see other people that are struggling with the information that comes out. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany. We work together to fight private equity. We work together to save small businesses in our community, to expose corrupt corporations, and to talk politics regularly. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, share, do all the buttons, and do all the things. Sorry, 83.
Well,
that explains it pretty much. And clearly he wasn't professional. A professional would have been long with him. I think they got a professional. Strict. I mean, just like
McDonald's.
The movies. I mean, it's just like the movies. I feel like they roll like that. I mean, when they caught him at McDonald's, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
McDonald's. You should have been in. You should be on the airplane or what? Because they don't know who they're looking for. You can use your regular passport and your regular ID because they don't know who you are yet.
So my question still would be, so I guess that's how he would gain access to the whereabouts and times of the man that was unalived.
Yep.
How else is he going to know about the HealthCare conference that he was supposed to be attending or speaking at if he wasn't somehow affiliated and connected with that industry?
Exactly.
Or had some interest.
Exactly.
Wow.
For all they know, babe, they could have got the heads of the company could have got an email from United Healthcare saying, we're doing a such conference. Come on out.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be at that conference.
That's all I can say.
I think that, I ain't going to say that's like I know, but the evidence of what she's saying, it makes it like that answers the question.
A lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. And it's sad that once again, his life has been,
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
And his parents are old.
Yeah, they're in their 70s.
Yep. Mom was 60, right?
61, 71. Yeah.
So it's like, oh man, I know that has destroyed them. I can't make it they had any knowledge of that. I just don't see it.
Oh, we never know.
That's true.
We don't know what the conversations they done had.
That's but I just said.
All right, y'all. We pray for the families that especially of those senior communities, of those homes, those homes that have been neglected.
Also pray for the man that was unalive.
I pray for him and his family too.
What they alleged and accused of, he still had a wife and small children.
Yeah, it's a dirty game out here, man.
A spouse wants to see.
It's
got kids, that ain't.
It's a dirty game out here, man. All right, man. Smash that like button. 2025 is almost here. We'll see you on the next one, man. This is getting crazy. All right.